Okay, so if we're looking at this, we now have our slopes and our y-intercept. So when we go to graph this, we always start with our y-intercept. So our y-intercept will help us graph this. So if I know that's -1 for the first one, I'd put that dot at -1, and then I would continue with my slope. So my slope being 2/1 or 2 has a rise of 2, 1, 2, and a run of 1. So I'd put another point right here, and I'd continue to keep on with that. So I'd go 1, 2, up 2, over 1. And I can even go one more time, up 2, 1, 2, over 1. And I can connect those points the best I can, like that. And I would always put my label right here. So -2x minus 1. So in this case here, we have -x plus 8, and we know our slope is -1, and our intercept is 8, so +8. So we know it goes down 1 because it's negative, over 1, point, down 1, over 1, point, down 1, over 1, point, down 1, over 1, point. And if I connect these two lines, I now have a point of intersection or a solution. And that is the point right here, which is I go over on my x-axis being 3 and on my y being 5. So the solution being 3, 5 in this scenario. Okay? If you have questions about that, let me know. All right. So if we move on to our next thing here, we have -2/3x minus 4. So we know my slope is -2/3. So it goes down 2/3. And we know our y-intercept is -4. And for the second one, we have y equals 2x plus 4. We know that the slope is 2, so 2/1. And we know our y-intercept is +4. So if we go to graph our first one, we always start with our y-intercept being -4. We put that point on. And then we have a slope of down 2, 1, 2, over 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And we can connect those points there with our line, and we would write out our y equals -2/3x minus 4, and that's our equation there. For the second one, we're going to have a +4, and typically we just go up 2/1, up 2/1, but you'll realize that these points are not going in the direction we want to see an intersect or a solution. So what you can do is do the opposite. So if you went down 2 and to the left 1, that's going to equal the same as 2/1. So we're going to go down 2/1, down 2/1, down 2/1. And if we connect these lines, we have a point of intersection. That point being an x and a y, and the solution being -3 and -2 right here. Okay, so that's how we'd find our intersection, by just making sure that we graph properly, and we can put those lines on. And again, this point being the most important, that is our point of intersection or solution, and making sure that I label as well for full marks. Does anyone have any questions about that? Concerns, comments? No, we're good? Sweet. Okay, let's go over here to the next one. And in this case, we have solve y for the following equations. So in this case, we have solve y for the following equations. So we have x is equal to something. This is pretty straightforward. We have y equals x plus 6. We know that x is equal to 9, so we would just sub that in. 9 plus 6 being 15. Pretty straightforward. In this case, we have x is equal to -4, so we'd go y equals 5x plus 13. We put that into the x column or the x position, so it'd be y equals 5 times -4 plus 13, and we'd be left with y equals -20 plus 13. And in this case, -20 plus 13 would be -7. Okay, so pretty straightforward. You're just solving for the missing one there. All right. Okay, so it says use the substitution method to solve. So we know substitution, sub one into the other. Okay, we're not doing elimination. This is substitution. So we're going to take this, y equals 5x plus 1, and we're going to plop it in there to the y of that one. So what that ends up looking like is 5x plus 1 equals 2x plus 4. All we've done is sub in one y for the other y in the equation. And the rationale behind that is we want one equation to be equal to the other, that being the point of intersection. When they're equal, that means they're crossing that same point at that exact time. So if we do what we usually do, keeping our letters on one side, numbers on the other, we'd move this over and that over. So it'd be 5 minus 2x, and then positive 4 minus 1. We'd have 3x on this side, 3 on that side. To get x by itself, we must divide both sides by 3, giving us the answer of x equal to 1. All right. Okay, now we want to sub that x equals 1 into either of the equations. So let's just use that y equals 5x plus 1. And in this case, y is equal to 5 times 1 plus 1. Y being equal to 5 plus 1, and y being equal to 6. And when we put our solution, x comma y, as always, it is 1 and 6. All right, so if we do the next one, we're doing substitution again. So we're going to be substituting, we have y equals -2x plus 1. We're going to be putting that into the y position. So what that looks like is 6x minus 2 bracket -2x plus 1 equals 18. This one a little bit more on the difficult side. We then have 6x, and now we have to multiply that -2 by -2x, and then again by +1. So -2 times -2x is actually +4x. -1 times +1 is -2 is equal to 18. And then in this case, we will have 6x plus 4x is 10x. And this going to the other side being 18 plus 2, 10x equaling 20. We know we divide both sides by 10. And x is equal to 2. Once that is completed, we sub in x equals 2. So y is equal to -2x plus 1. Y is equal to -2 times 2 plus 1. Y would be equal to -4 plus 1. And in this case, y being equal to -3, with our solution being 2, -3. Okay. Any questions about that, guys? Concerns, comments? Cool. All right. Moving on. So we're going to now use, it says use the elimination method. Woo, that's what we just did. So we can do that, no problem. Well, we look at these two, -x plus 3y equals 8, and x minus 7y equals 12. Well, we got x's that look similar. In this case, we have a negative and a positive, so we actually have to add. We've got two different signs, so we got to add them. So in this case, we rewrite our equation. And we know we got to add. So here, -x plus +x, basically -1 plus 1, is equal to 0. And then +3 plus -7, or basically 3 minus 7, it's going to be -4y. And now 8 plus 12 being 20. To get y by itself, we got to divide both sides by -4. That's going to give us y is equal to -5. Okay. Now we're just going to sub in y equals -5 into either one. We'll just pick the top one. So -x plus 3y equals 8. -x plus 3 times -5 is equal to 8, because I've just subbed this into that spot. And we would have -x plus -15 equals 8. -x would be equal to 8, and then we're going to move that over. Since it's negative on that side, it's positive over here. -x is equal to +23. And if we divide both sides by -1, we will get the answer of x is equal to, +x is equal to -23. So we have a big one there, -5. And, sorry, I got that wrong there. -23 being the x, and -5 being our solution. Okay. Questions there? No? All right, let's look at the next one, another elimination one. So in this case, we've got 6's. And since they're the same, we can subtract. So negative 2x plus 6y equals 10. Negative 5x plus 6y equals 7. We're going to subtract both of those because that will get rid of these. So 0. Negative 2x minus negative 5. So we're actually adding there will be 3x. And then 10 minus 7. Oh. Sorry, guys. 10 minus 7 is 3. Divide both sides by 3. X being equal to 1. Then if we just go to sub in x equals 1, we'd have, let's just use the first one. We put in the 1 into the x spot. So negative 2 plus 6y equals 10. 6y is equal to 10 plus 2, since we're on the other side. 6y being equal to 12. We want to do this to get y by itself, which is 2. So 1 and 2. Okay. Now we've got 2 questions left. I'm only going to do one of them in the matter of time here. In the chat, just take a quick look at those questions. Type if you want me to do the first one or the second one. So just say 1 or 2, and I'll do either one of those. Just type 1 or 2. Okay, so it looks like we're having some overwhelming thought to do the second one here. So the first one, just to let you know, you're just going to do substitution. Okay, so you do substitution, you just sub in this into there, and that will help you get your equation, okay? Or you could even do elimination if you'd really like, but substitution is the best for that one. The second one is a little bit more like what we did today. So it says a rock concert by the band Product 14 sold all 4,800 seats at a local arena. The number of seats is represented by X, while the number of bowl seats is represented by Y. So X plus Y is equal to all 4,800 tickets. So basically X being the floor seats, Y being the bowl seats or the seats up top. The tickets for both are $45 for the floor and $35 for the bowl. The tickets totaled $177,000, and it's represented by the equation 45 being the cost of the floor seats and X representing the floor seats, and $35 being the bowl seat cost and Y being the bowl seat is equal to $177,000. So it says how many floor tickets and bowl seats were sold. Okay, so in this case, we just write our two equations like we usually do. And we know that we don't have anything we can eliminate. Okay, so we don't have anything we can eliminate, and there's nothing that's equal to one variable like the other, so we can't just sub it in. So in this case, we want to do elimination, but like our thing we did in class today, we're going to have to multiply that first one by an amount to get something to eliminate. And in this case, I usually just choose the first variable. It makes it easiest. So I'm going to multiply this whole equation by 45 to give us two different equations, okay? Well, a different equation to match with the other to eliminate. So if we do the same thing we did before, 45 times x is 45x plus 45 times y being 45y. And 45 times 4,800 is 216,000. Okay? And then, so that is that equation, and we're just going to put this one below it. And since we have two things we can eliminate that are both the same sign, we're going to do subtraction. Sorry, bottom one should read 35. So we're going to do subtraction. So these cancel out, being 0. 45 minus 35 is 10y. And 216,000 minus 177,000 is $39,000. And in this case, we want to divide both sides by 10 to get y. So y would be equal to 390. Okay. Just make sure we're doing that correctly. I apologize. It's this divided by that is actually 3,900. I apologize. So 3,900. And then we can just put it into our first equation. So we know that x plus y equals 4,800. We know that y now is 3,900. We know that x is then equal to 4,800 minus 3,900. And we know that that would then be 900. Okay? So in this case, we know that the floor seats is x and the bowl seats is y. So therefore, there are 900 floor seats and 3,900 bowl seats. Okay?